people ask me that a lot, saying, how do you do that job as a Christian? You're reporting on murders and on corruption and government and on fighting going on, and so we try to balance kind of the good, the bad, and the
Yeah.
ugly on the TV news. So we try to give some good news as well, but it's part of my job, and so I can't necessarily say Jesus is Lord on a TV newscast, but I feel like that I can do stories in a compassionate way and shape things in a way that is has some subtleties to it. And my thing that I try to do, and I'm not always good at this, but I try to on a weekly, daily basis. I say, God, just use me. Holy Spirit, use me. And it's interesting because I've had a few people come up to me just randomly, downtown or at the grocery store, a couple people, and have said, I just want to let you know, thank you for what you do. The Holy Spirit, I can feel him through the TV screen. And it kind of it sends chills down my spine because I'm like, it's not me,
Right.
it's him. And so, it's interesting how, a lot of us feel like in our jobs as a lawyer or a podcast host or, a janitor or something like, can God really use me? And I think, truly he really can. You just have to, find those opportunities because he'll open those doors. And so, when I'm given the news, I feel like God's giving me this gift to, whatever it is, to be soft with it, or to not be fake, to be myself. And
Yep.
and we know this with any job in life. The secret is to be yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the hardest thing for folks. And it can be really hard when you've got a camera and 30,000 people on the other side of that camera and lights and makeup on. With all that, I mean, that, it makes it hard maybe necessarily to be yourself. But once you get into that comfort zone, and God can use you. So I just try to be Jason Dennis, and it makes it a little easier. I don't have to put on
Yeah.
a certain face to do that.